12th May 2003. This date is etched in my memory. This was the day when my best friend Shafi Metha's mother choked in her sleep at midnight in Kerala, Cochin. He didn't know which number to dial. He didn't know which hospital to call. He put his mom in the back of his car and drove like a maniac to the hospital. He managed to save her. She was in the ICU for 3 days, struggling for her life. Sitting outside the ICU, this man thought, why is it that in India you do not have a number like 911? Why is it that people who can afford to pay do not have an option to call an ambulance? He came back to Mumbai, where he worked with me at ZTV, and he discussed this idea of starting an ambulance company. It was not just me, it was other friends as well. But I really resonated with the idea. I had studied abroad, I'd got my master's from Rochester, and had come back and joined ZTV. And the thought of starting something like 911 really resonated with me. I could foresee the number of lives which a 911 kind of service could save in India. However, my financial situation was not very healthy. I had just started out in life. I had barely become financially stable, and I did not want to be in a position wherein I asked my parents to again pay for my expenses. So I started to help out Shafi in building out this ambulance company. I retained my job, but with the permission of my CEO, worked part-time to build the concept and do a pilot in the year 2004. We started with barely two ambulances in the city of Mumbai in a small 250 square feet office. Since both of us needed the money, we kept our jobs and got a team to implement the idea. We tied up with London Ambulance Service because they had already run ambulances for decades. We did not want to reinvent the wheel. The 2 ambulances were formally, the pilot was completed, and in 2005, after 2 years, we formally launched the number 1298 in Mumbai with 10 ambulances. I still continued my professional journey so that I could sustain myself. 1298 is an ambulance company wherein you can dial the number, and like a taxi service, you can get the ambulance and you pay for it after the call is done. The business model was very simple. There was a standard rate card like a taxi service, and if you chose to go to a private hospital like Hinduja, Lilavati, Breach Candy, you had to pay as per the rate card. But if you chose to go to a government hospital, the same service was made available to you at 50% of the standard rate price. To further augment the revenues, we used the body of the ambulances to brand big brands like Marico, like Tata AIG, like ICICI Bank. A combination of user fee and the advertising revenue helped us make the business financially sustainable. In the first year itself, we were able to break even at an operational level. And then in 2007, Acumen Fund put money in us, and we were able to raise $1.5 million to spread the ambulance service. In 2007, I quit Marico and joined full-time as the CEO of the ambulance company. And today, I'm happy to share with you that after 12 years, we have 2,500 ambulances across 18 states in India. We have served over 6.5 million people to date. We've delivered 12,000 babies on board, and we employ 10,000 people in the company. This year, we should do around 200 crores in turnover, and we have been a profitable company for the last 6 years. Currently, the company is run by my other partners. We have 5 friends who started the company. So these are my 5 partners. So the other partners now run the company on day-to-day basis, and I am on to my next startup, which is called Emergency, which is a mobile app which connects people to the closest first responder in less than 10 minutes so that a life can be saved. This is a global platform, and it's only 2 years old. Hopefully you hear about it much more in the future. However, I'm here to talk about why is it that there are very few women entrepreneurs. Today in this room, when I walked in, I saw there's around 70 people, and there are only 3 women entrepreneurs. Why is it? The recent study shows that there are only 14% women in India who run business establishments. And out of that 14%, most of them run small businesses. Not only that, 79% of the businesses run by the women are self-financed. The study also revealed that this is mainly due to 3 things. One is due to unequal inheritance rights. Once the woman is married, the girl is married, she doesn't get anything from the family in most of the cases. Second thing, the constraints which she has to live with in a family. And the third, which is access to capital and the requirement to give collateral when you start a business. So these 3 reasons have been documented. In my experience, a woman has to work twice as hard as his male counterpart to establish herself. I remember when I started the ambulance company and I started going for meetings with government officials wherein 90% of our business comes, the IS officers in the first meeting used to dismiss me, stating that I'm very young and I don't have the experience to run an ambulance company. It took immense amount of hard work on the ground to prove them wrong and to get them to believe in my capabilities. The second thing which I believe is that there's a huge shortage of successful women role models. Today, all my mentors are male mentors. I do not have a single woman mentor. When a woman decides to do a business, it is very difficult. She is doing things at home and she is doing things outside. It's different than a job, because in a job you get a salary. In a business you're not assured of a salary. You cannot have weekends off and you cannot take a break and go on a holiday till your business establishes. And it can be very challenging. And if at that point you cannot talk to an entrepreneur, a woman entrepreneur who's done it, it can just be very, very difficult. And obviously life changes when you have a baby, and therefore that time also you need to have women mentors. And last but not the least, I think in India, business is again considered to be a man thing. Very cliche, but it is true. Women, yeah, why do they need to do a business? You can get a good job, get married, do all those nice low-risk stuff. So what can we do to change these numbers? From 14% to 50%, can we look maybe in 2 decades to reach that number? Yes, with people like Harsh, with more foundations which are focusing on entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs, I think this work can be done. In my mind, there are 3 simple things which we can do. One is, if you have a girl child, please treat her like a boy. Don't tell her that her job is to only look good, wear good clothes, and maybe find a Prince Charming who's going to take care of her. Tell her that she has a life of her own and she can live her dreams and she should have her own identity. And I think that will produce more girls who are willing to do something. My mom, she got married at the age of 16. She was a very bright student. But she decided if she had a girl child, she is going to educate that girl child. And I am a living example of that. She always taught me to live my dreams, and I am living it to my fullest. The second thing is, people here, investors, please treat women businesses as equal business than like a man. We can do better than men if you give us the money and if you trust on us. Just again, personal example, I remember when I was invited to be the co-founder of the ambulance company. There were other 3 friends who were there with Shafi. And the 2 people had such a huge problem accepting me as a co-founder because I was a woman. It took almost 1 year for them to get convinced that I was worth being a co-founder. And last but not the least, the creation of an ecosystem. And I think this is very important when it comes to women, because You have to have an ecosystem where you can thrive. And the ecosystem has to be good at 3 places. One is at home, second is at work, and third is outside work. And I'll just quickly tell you how. At home, first of all, I believe you need to have a supportive family and a supportive husband. If your husband does not believe in what you're doing, the journey can be very tough. I married very late, but I have found a husband who really believes in me and my dreams. I have a small baby, 2 years old. I've got 2 wonderful nannies who are devoted to her. I always also have a backup. We moved to a wonderful building which has a lot of kids and a lot of professionals, so that we are sure that when we are away working, she is in safe hands. So at work, you need to create your own support system. Sorry, at home. At work, now my team knows that I'm a mother. So 7 o'clock, I shut everything. 7:30 to 9:30, you may not find me on my phone or any of the social networks, because that's the time with my little daughter. Third, at outside work. And I think that's very important. At work, it can be very lonely. At home, it's very demanding. So you need a let out. And the let out I have found in the form of We Win, which is my ASCENT group. I have 9 wonderful mentors who are there with me all the time. Every time I'm frustrated, disgusted, I just have to call and talk to them. So they are my support network outside my home and my work. They have learned me. I have learned from them to be mature. I've learned from them to love myself. And I mean, that is amazing. I can tell you stories in the break time. To love myself. I've learned from them to say no to things, except to ASCENT. And I've learned from them to trust each other. And in the end, I just want to end with this, which is, if you want to change the numbers, 14% to 50%, this is what we need to do. If we give girls and women the chance to change their lives, they can change the world. Thank you.